pains me to have to do this episode, but to cut to the point, I am taking an indefinite break from podcasting. And as much as like I have fought like hell to keep the show going, it has come at a hefty cost. And that has been my mental health. That has been my patience. I don't want to say my relationship, that hasn't necessarily affected my relationship per se, but it's definitely one of the things. And so I'm just gonna lay it all out for you guys, because I don't know how else to do this. But when I first started this podcast, I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like I was healing and making progress and just like really discovering my purpose. And I do feel like I've discovered my purpose. I really do. I feel like I'm here. I was always meant to be a mom. I was always meant to help moms. And part of being able to help mom was becoming a mom myself. But I'm starting to feel like podcasting is not going to be the way that I do that. And maybe in some aspect, like I may do episodes just to provide, as a means to teach here and there. But for now, it's coming to a screeching halt. And it doesn't mean I'm going to stop creating. I'm still going to be like making TikToks and reels that I'll repost on there on my Instagram. But I just am burnt out like hell. I am burnt the fuck out. And I guess, like I said, I really thought that I was making such good progress in my healing journey, and to a point where I could really help like teach and coach other people. And I do think that some of the content that I've made, or the episodes that I've made thus far, have been helpful. But I've always felt like I was missing something, and that was a certain level of education, like credentials, if you will, as a form of credibility. And I knew that like I wasn't going to have the time and the capacity to go back to school and become a psychologist and do all of those things, in part because I think that Western medicine is, while it is helpful, I think that it definitely needs some drastic change. And that became apparent as I was reading the book, The Myth of Normal, and you can look that book up. I talk about it a lot in my episodes, but by Dr. Gabor Mate. But it's becoming more and more apparent that Western medicine is not doing its job. People are getting sicker. People are unwell. Mortality rates have not improved significantly. People are getting autoimmune disorders and things like that at higher rates than normal. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. And those were things that I definitely wanted to touch on this podcast. And, maybe I will at some point. It might not come in the form of a podcast. But there's just so much that goes on. In order to be able to create a podcast, you have to plan out your episodes. You have to script out your episodes or create an outline. And that takes time and energy and research. Then you have to set up to record the episodes. Then you have to record the episodes. Then you have to edit the episodes just to be able to post them. I do video and audio, so that's an extra step. I have to record all of those things, and once I record it, then I have to create clips, and then I have to prep those clips for social media. So that doesn't even include all of the captions and the hashtags and all of the writing that goes into all of that. And that's quite literally that like could be a 10-person team doing all of those things. And I have been doing that by myself. And so I'm damn proud of myself for acquiring these skills and doing these things for the sake of, and enhancing those skills that I think are going to serve me later in this industry. But all in all, I can't do it anymore. I'm not, like I said, going to be taking a step back from creating. I will still be on social media doing things here and there. I am really excited though, because I'm going to be undergoing a training process with a healer who is actually, she has experience, and she was a counselor and things like that in just regular Western psychology, if you will. But she also researched and learned how to become like a Reiki healer, and really learning a lot of those other, like, I guess you could say, like Eastern healing modalities that are becoming more and more popular. I don't want to say popular because it's not a fad. Like, it's like we're returning to our roots. We're returning to the practices of indigenous peoples who have been practicing these types of things for many, many years. And I think it's the beginnings of what is going to be a drastic shift in this world. And so there is just really a handful of reasons for me deciding to do this. But it is definitely with a heavy heart, because there's a part of me that feels like I failed, that feels like I'm quitting. And it's not quitting if you learn something, right? Like I just said, I learned a lot of valuable skills on what podcasting looks like. What are the jobs that consist of podcasting? Learning how to market a podcast in some ways, and the editing skills, really big, really big with that. But I don't know. It's hard. It's been, but I think this decision has been long overdue. I'm excited to continue my journey of learning more about healing and possibly becoming a healer myself and helping others in that aspect. But it's time to say goodbye to podcasting. It's sad. It sucks. But this won't be the last of me. I promise. This will not be the last of me that you hear. If you enjoyed my content, or, any of that stuff, then, or if you were a huge supporter of me, go follow my personal Instagram or TikTok page, whichever you prefer watching. I pretty much like repost things on Instagram. Sometimes there's more stuff on TikTok because, like, you can record up to 10 minutes, whereas Instagram Reels, you can only post up to 90 minutes, and you have to post a variety of content. But anyways, that's beside the point. That's pretty much where you're going to find me for now. And you will see some things coming. But right now, I need to focus on my mental health. PMDD is slowly destroying my life. And I will probably talk more about that on my page. But it has been fucking with me, yo. Like, I have just been on an emotional roller coaster for a long time. And it's time that I get it under control. And that's going to take more time and effort and intentionality as it relates to my physical, spiritual, mental health. And I have very little downtime right now, as it is with 2 toddlers. And that downtime to myself is precious, and I cannot spend it doing all of the things that it takes to run this podcast. I can't anymore. I can't do this at the expense of my own health. I just can't anymore. And, maybe this could serve as a message or a sign to you that maybe it's time to put down whatever it is that you're holding on dearly to in hopes that it will work, that it will come to fruition, and just trust that things are going to work out. Be it a job, be it a creative project, be it a relationship, any of those things. Or a dream that you've held on to and have come to realize maybe that's not what you're meant to do. Sometimes you gotta know when it's time to walk away. And that's just kind of where I'm at. It's time for me to walk away. And it's not goodbye forever. It's see you later. As they say, I know it sounds tacky, but those of you that have been around, that have listened to my episodes, that have shared my episodes, that have found some sort of impact from my episodes, I thank you so much for listening, for supporting me, for just being, just fans, friends. I didn't get the privilege of getting to know each and every one of you that listen. It's probably like 20 of you at this point. I have not had the privilege of meeting all of the people, and that is something that I deeply regret. But please, if you listen to this episode, send me a DM, let me know, hey, I've been listening to your show, and I just want to, and I'll follow you back. That way, I can keep in contact with the people who want to learn more about this, or not learn more about this, but want to stay in touch. You know what I mean? And maybe have felt like my content has served you. That's really why I started this. It wasn't just for me, for clout, or for trying to gain some sort of fame and fortune. Yeah, this was very near and dear to my heart, but I think it's just time that I go a different direction, that I redirect. And so, with that said, I hope it's still recording. Shit, hold on. Is it still recording? God, that's gonna suck if it's not recording. Oh yes, this is a short episode. I'm not even gonna bother to edit this because, well, I don't have time. My kids have been sick back to back. Now my husband's sick, and right now he is taking one for the team and just taking care of my sick son while he's he's about to hack up a lung. So it's time I close it out. But again, I just want to thank you all that have stuck around this long, and hasn't been long. Those of you that have stuck around and have cheered me on from the sidelines, behind the scenes, in spirit, if you will, across states, and have wanted to see me succeed with this and grow and make a really big impact. And like I said, I promise this is not going to be the end for me. I have this really strong calling, and I can't ignore it. No matter how hard I try, I can't ignore it. And I just have to trust that things are going to happen and unfold at the way that they're meant to. So, I love you all. Thank you again. And until next time.